Welcome, everybody, to the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. This is your Equilibrium podcast. Your
Equilibrium? What?
If you
Like
want to
the movie?
rebalance, this is your logic and reason, non-overreaction podcast. Right here, baby. Right here, because there's been a lot of overreactions over the last couple of weeks, and I hate to say it to everybody, but I told you so.
Yeah.
I told you so. In fact, today, news drops. Guess what? Activision's opening a new studio working on a AAA game. Today.
Yeah.
Announced.
Well, they announced it
But
today.
I thought Xbox was dead. I thought Xbox was dead.
I think the studio's been there secretly for a while now. Like they just announced that they have a studio.
Yeah, they just revealed, and that's what they're working on. So that's exciting. That's some exciting news. We also...
You had that really crazy drama this week where everybody was exploding on Twitter.
Everyone. I mean, I think we addressed that a little bit last week, but...
No, the new drama about Square Enix laying off employees.
Square Enix?
Oh, wait, I forgot. No one talked about that at all.
That's right. That's right. You set me up for that one.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
I called David today and told him I lost all faith in
most
gaming journalists. Like
Yeah,
it was like, David, they like freaked out over Xbox laying off people. Square Enix is doing the same thing in Europe and America.
Yeah.
No one said anything. Yeah. And you know what it was? I told David, I said, I think they were They used all of their mana attacking Xbox, and then come this week, they were just drained.
They're drained.
They had nothing. Yeah.
There's nothing left. And then PlayStation saw drops in their console sales by 30%. Didn't expect it, so their stock fell as well. Is PlayStation dead? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone checking? No. Yeah. Because, guys, macroeconomic conditions. This is what happens. And not only that, the gaming console space at the moment is going through an adjustment. It's going through a shift. That's what we talked about last week. So to everybody that freaked out, I hope you've learned your lesson. Welcome back to the fold of sanity. Also, I told you so, but I love you.
Well,
So
it's just like this week especially made me see, like, if you're going to have an emotional reaction over one and another company in the same space does the same thing and you have like no reaction at all. And I mean, I went to these guys on their Twitters and all this and stuff. Nothing. One mentioned like, oh, hey, look what happened today. Yeah. But last week it was the end of the world, and it was just I have officially lost all faith in 98% of gaming journalists.
Yeah,
I will give you 2%.
Well, what's interesting is I think I posted this tweet. Can I read my tweet that I posted today?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to quote myself here.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I have a job. I am the head of community and content for a mobile gaming company. And so I think because in that space, I think I have a little bit of perspective of what gaming journalists are going through. And gaming journalists, they forget what social media is for. So this is what I posted, because since then, a lot of gaming journalists and influencers are like, I'm just tired of gaming. Just seems it's not
just
fun
say it like
anymore.
It is. They acted like my 5-year-old child.
No, but they're steeped in this social media world, this online world that isn't real.
Which in turn makes them act like a 5-year-old child.
So for instance, so they think that on, let's say, I'm not even going to use, I'll just use Twitter. Let's say on Twitter, they're seeing all the outrage from Xbox gamers, for instance. Let's say that, and they see it. And so they think in their minds, hey, this must be what Xbox gamers think. What is happening here? Gamers are so negative. No, that's the mistake you've made. Hardcore Twitter users who happen to claim to be Xbox users are not representative of Xbox users. Who are they representative of? They're representative of hardcore Twitter users who happen to play Xbox. That's a very specific... Same on Discord. Well, if you're on Discord and you're in a giant server and people are going off, it's not representative of anyone else in that game necessarily. There could be an overlap. But what it is representative of is a hardcore Discord user on Discord that does X, Y, or Z hobby. So this is what I posted, because Tony Polanco, who is at Tom's Hardware, is that anyways, he's a gaming journalist, and he put, gaming Discord is so tiresome. I remember when it used to be fun. Social media ruined that.
So I think social media ruined a lot of things.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But I posted, I've noticed that many in the gaming space seem to have lost sight of what social media really represents. They mistake the loudest voices on platforms like Twitter, Discord, Instagram, or TikTok for the entire gaming community. These platforms showcase power users who are often more focused on crafting their online personas than on actual gaming. I see this all the time in my position. People... hey, your game should do X, Y, or Z. Your game, blah, 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 giving us feedback. And you go and look at their account, like, bro, you're like barely a user. But what they are invested in, they're not invested in your game as much or your platform. They are invested in their online persona. And that's what people forget. The platform that you're on, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they showcase power users from that platform. An outspoken gamer on Twitter is just that, an outspoken person on Twitter. Their views usually don't reflect those of the broader gaming community. These voices represent only a curated slice of a constructed narrative, not the majority of gamers. Realizing this can transform your perspective, helping you stay grounded amid the digital noise. Remember that, everybody. What you see on social media represents that person on social media. That's it. Doesn't represent anything else. There could be overlap. It could be, but it doesn't necessarily. And assuming that it does, for instance, the tweets last week, like, oh, Xbox has never been this low before. The sentiment, like, well, where is the data? Show me are you polling Xbox users? Show me the data on this. Oh, you're going by the people showing up in your feed on Twitter?
Well, that's
not correct.
Like, what if I said this week, Square Enix fans have never been at a lower point in their lives? Like, that's not... Yeah, it doesn't make, because literally the same thing happened at Square Enix this week.
Yeah, just remember that though. Social media, just keep it in perspective and disconnect, and that disconnecting actually helps you to keep it in perspective. Shout out to Zave Strader who dropped $2.99. Huge thank you, super chat here. Hey guys, love the show and the positivity. That's their third super. Thank you very much for that super chat, Zave. Appreciate it. Starfield. Oh, so we had the Square Enix. Looks like.
So Square Enix. Well, it doesn't look like they announced this week that they're laying off studios in Europe and America. They did say which departments would be affected. I forget what it was. You can pull it up, David, if you want. They laid it out, but it's a part of their restructuring, kind of similar words that Microsoft used that no one freaked out about. And basically, they're aggressively going multi-platform. So that was the big announcement with it. Was
the big news? No more exclusives. Sorry,
it's really interesting.
Like, PlayStation's dying. It's because of Game Pass. This is all because of Game Pass.
I don't think PlayStation's dying.
PlayStation's dying now. No, according if I'm applying the same logic.
Oh yeah. If
I apply the same logic.
Sorry, I forgot we were. Yeah, we had to. Yeah. You're right.
We apply the same logic. PlayStation's dying, guys. Square Enix doesn't want to be there. It's because of Game Pass. That's it.
Must be because of
Game Pass is destroying gaming.
Yeah.
No,
he's being facetious, everybody. Just so you guys know. Yeah.
I like the word facetious.
Yeah. So
facetious.
But it's a fun word. No, yeah, that was the big non-news this week, because you would think it'd be big news because of the reaction you got last week about
shot their shot.
Yeah, well, I really do. I think they went like it happens all the time in raiding. You know, the healers aren't paying attention. All of a sudden, boom. Yeah. You can't just throw it all on one thing.
That's when things fall apart.
Mark's been there. You're like, you're free. Yeah, it's just you
DPS can go but when your healers go that's when panic starts happening.
So
if you see the healer say OOM in chat, you're about to get wiped.
Ah, shit.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I think they ran out of mana last week. I really do. I think they threw all their spells up at one thing.
So before we talk about Starfield, should we talk about rumors of the showcase, the Xbox showcase that's coming June 9th? Is it June 9th? The showcase is coming Sunday. That Sunday of the first week of June. Doom is rumored to be coming here. Doom, a new Doom thing. It's getting teased a little bit. Some leaks are starting to drop.
I mean, yeah, because isn't id the people that do Doom?
Would be.
Yeah, have they? I mean, I played Doom Eternal. Have they done anything since that other than obviously support Doom Eternal? So I mean, could there be?
It could be big here, and this would be the first time under the Xbox umbrella that a Doom drops. And Doom, if you've never played Doom, everyone, and you're like, what's all the hubbub? Picture the smoothest,
Yeah, it's buttery smooth,
action-packed first-person shooter that you've ever played in your life in hell. Oh, and by the way, in hell, and you've got Doom. And videos don't do it as much justice. And the game is built to like it encourages you to keep going, like not to stop, not to crouch.
Well, the
like
way you regain ammo, life, and stuff like it's designed
through kills. You got to keep killing.
Yeah, it's designed to.
And
to
it
go.
is
very good.
It is awesome.
Do you think this next iteration, because you know how he went sleeveless in Eternal,
yeah,
you think he's gonna wear like shorts? You think that's the next step, or like a banana thong? Maybe he just gets.
It's like Doom Dad.
It's a pair of khakis.
It's like Doom Dad, all Hawaiian shirt.
That would actually be like a fun spin-off.
Like,
It would be a fun spin-off, yeah. And it's not. It's like
Doom Dad.
It's like he's on vacation on an island somewhere because he's already saved.
But
us
something
from the
that's like
demons of
over,
hell.
like kind of like Far Cry Blood Dragon, where it was like over the top satire. You know,
He's like in Jamaica, and some like witch doctor has unleashed hell, the demons from hell.
yeah, he's smoking some dogs.
He's on the beach. That's how it starts out. Dude, I think we've got a winner. Is it who
Doom
does
Dad.
Is it software?
Yeah.
If you're
Doom
listening,
Dad.
I
Doom
think this
Dad
needs to be-
edition.
yeah, Doom Dad. DD, the double D. Double D edition. That's what it would be called. Doom Dad.
It's a nice pair of cargo shorts.
It's a nice, yeah. And then that, like, as you level up, your cosmetics are like different Hawaiian shirt styles or like golf polos.
And then you get the ultimate weapon, the fanny pack.
Yes. Yes. That gives you more inventory.
It's got chapstick and the stuff you need for the hot weather.
I will say one of the most impressive things I've ever seen is Doom speedruns.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Super cool. They like use their weapons to blow themselves across the map. It's so cool.
How you said that kind of made me feel a little awkward, but then
I mean, we've been
I figured out what you were saying.
Yeah. It's true. Shout out to Miami Magpie, became a tier 1 member here on the show. Thank you for your support, Miami Magpie. For those of you that are listening, if you like the show, if you like logic and reason, if you like just enjoying your games and not freaking out at the drop of a hat, then this is the show for you. You might not agree with us all the time. You might not like us, but out of the three of us, you're going to like one of us.
there's a good chance.
Yeah, you're probably not going to like me. You probably may not like Spicy, but you'll like Jordan.
There's at least a 33% chance.
33.3333% chance that you'll like one of us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you like what we're doing, you want to support the show, come over, become a member. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. Also, rate, review, and leave us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to us. That also helps us. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. But Doom, Spicy, what do you think if Doom drops as like the lone surprise for the showcase, successful showcase?
Well,
Doom.
I mean, yes.
they haven't missed yet.
Yes. I mean, I want more than that, but this isn't a PlayStation conference, so, it's going to... usually I only got God of War for a couple of years and was still happy, so I guess probably. But no, yeah, I really like Doom. Doom is super, super fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the greatest gaming intros of all time is when like the Slayer gets out of the shower, flexes his arms, and then runs and jumps off from his palace in the sky, and then you just start going.
The tower,
And the rock,
space castle.
rock music kicks in.
It's so good. Like how it starts with like it has the radio of the atmosphere of it, where the radio's kicking in on how the planet is being invaded, by hell, and it's like help us, we're dying, and he's just like, all right, it's time.
So we also got the redacted Soul Finder in chat brought this up, but we also have the redacted Call of Duty that we know it's reactive Call of Duty. But I have some sources.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting big enough to get sources, everyone. I have sources that sent me some screenshots of what the next Call of Duty is. I actually think if you just Google it, you can show it up. But
You want me to?
yeah, Call of Duty.
So your sources are the internet?
Your sources is www.google.com.
You literally just gave up your
My
source.
source is the Googs. Goog that.
Well, we know we're gonna get the new Call of Duty, which is Black Ops.
Do Call of Duty Halo.
What?
Yeah, no, there's a crazy crossover.
And then images. And right there. Top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over. Boom.
That one?
Yeah.
This one? Okay.
Oh,
The Master Chief.
Chief Master Chief
operator
in
bugger.
Warzone.
Whoops. Let me do this.
Yeah, now this is over on Reddit that this has dropped. It's not been confirmed or anything, but it's starting to pick up some steam, some smoke. It's starting to heat up. So this could be true. It may or may not be true. If it is cool, what are your thoughts on it, Jordan? Let's go with you first. The Halo Master Chief Tracer Pack.
I'm actually... I actually think they've gone too far. Like in Warzone. Like...
Yeah, but it's not Nicki Minaj.
No, I know, but still, like it's kind of like... I don't know.
So check out the weapons.
Yeah.
And a tank.
Yeah.
And a sword.
But that doesn't really... To me, it doesn't, like, fit in Call of Duty. Like, even Paul Atreides, like, I was very happy and excited for that one.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And I think this is cool. But I just feel like it doesn't fit in Call of Duty Warzone.
We're way past that. As soon as you had Nicki Minaj jumping on the ship, we're
you
past.
You have devils and crazy...
Was John Wick ever in Call of Duty? It was in Fortnite.
Yeah, but Fortnite is like cartoon.
I feel like
zany.
Fortnite, it fits Fortnite.
It's a zany game,
Yeah.
whereas Call of Duty, it's a little bit more gritty.
But don't you think Halo
serious.
fit? Master Chief fits? Look at that.
No, I think it's cool. I just, like, if you look two
Only
things
if my
over...
TTK is a lot lower.
If you look two
or higher.
if you look two squares over, there's a guy with a giant pumpkin head.
My over-
you know? Like it's just kind of
my overshield better
like
kick
war.
in.
I don't know. Like I
That's the Pac-9 pumpkin patch.
yeah, I understand. Like it's an arcade game. Like it's not a military sim shooter. But what was cool about like Modern Warfare?
It had that gritty feel.
Or even like Warzone, which is, you know, I guess Warzone jumps, like it kind of went to World War II and then it's back in, you know, and started in Verdansk, went to World War II. Anyway, I guess it jumps everywhere. But I don't know, it kind of...
Remember that game had like laser sights and stuff for World War II? Red dots?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense at all.
And maybe that was the point. Maybe that's
They were just like,
that's
F
the
it.
point on the timeline when we
Like
shifted.
people were putting drum mags on like the M1 Garand and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Man, if we had that, the war would have been over a lot sooner.
That's when our timeline failed.
Yeah, I think it's because look, I think in video games you can suspend reality a little bit, right? But like in a World War II game, see, I don't know, because I don't know, it's different with like Wolfenstein. I think it's just
Wolfenstein was built into the lore. This is PvP,
and they didn't put drum mags on M1 Garands, so like there was still some.
Yeah,
some
it was,
grounded.
It was part of this. I mean, it was part of the story, but you had robots.
Well, and I don't think to my knowledge, David, you played Wolfenstein 1 more than I did. I don't think they had laser sights on
Wolfenstein?
Yeah.
They went there. They went out there. Yeah, because it was like, but it wasn't historic. It was an alternative.
Yeah.
Past,
And I think that's
where
what
technology had succeeded.
I
So
think
they
that's
kind of could
what-
do whatever they wanted.
I think that's what Call of Duty Vanguard was.
I mean, you
know?
basically had an Iron Man suit in Wolfenstein.
See, and I don't know. For some reason in Call of Duty, I can't suspend that belief enough to be sucked in. You know?
I get it, yeah.
Even World at War got me a little bit way back when, because World at War, now they didn't have like laser sights or anything, but they had that scope that had the crosshairs on it.
Yep.
Now, you don't really have to be much of a World War II buff to know that didn't exist really. Like, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Everybody would put it on like the machine gun. And the reason everybody used it is because it was the best one.
Well, to be
it was
fair-
like a World War II version of like the EOTech type, you know, just something you can throw on.
To be fair, going under the maps and shooting from the ground, you know,
Was that World at War?
That was World War. That was glitching.
Oh.
So but that didn't exist in World War II either.
Yeah, but you know, what do you do? So I don't. Maybe it's why I really enjoyed Battlefield 1 so much, because it was grounded more in reality.
So what you're saying is when the game is
Like I understand.
inherently a game that should be grounded in reality, and when they go out of that, that's when you have some sort of issue.
Well, like I said, I can suspend belief to an extent. Like in Call of Duty Warzone, because of the setting and how like it's a military game.
Yeah.
Right? I can't suspend the belief when Nicki Minaj is running across screen in a
Kicking ass.
pink outfit, right? Nothing against Nicki Minaj. It just doesn't make sense in my mind.
I kind of like Nicki
You know?
Minaj in a pink outfit.
But see, in another world, Wolfenstein, I can play that game just fine. Maybe it's because they established the lore.
There is a world that creates a theme, and that theme then creates your limits to that world. And so what you're saying is you feel like they've expanded those limits, and it's
beyond what my mind can handle.
What your mind can handle.
Yeah.
I like the Halo Master Chief thing. I think it's smart. I think this is a part of as well. The Call of Duty was part of what made the 360 so dominant. The fact that it's now it's officially under the Xbox umbrella, doing stuff like this. It's coming home. It's coming home.
Now, speaking of all the drama last week, there was some talk.
Baby mama drama?
Yeah, there was some talk about Call of Duty being internally debated whether they should put it on Game Pass or not.
Oh, yeah, but the thing that's so stupid about that is I send Spicy, we're in a corporation, I send Spicy an email, hey, are we sure we were putting Call of Duty on that, right? Just want to get the go. That could be interpreted as
internal debate.
Well,
I don't doubt that they debate a whole bunch of different scenarios, right?
No, Sarah Bond came out, said all first-party exclusives, every single one will drop day one on Game Pass. Shut that down right away.
Yeah, but she didn't specifically say Call of Duty.
Sarah Bond looked nervous. Did everybody watch that interview? Did you watch that interview?
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, after our show.
Pull it up?
Yeah, you can pull it up. After our show, there's a Bloomberg Tech conference in New York, I believe it is. And Sarah Bond was at that tech conference and did an interview right after all of the Tango Works layoffs happened and everything. And so she had to talk about it. Now, a lot of people were like, Phil Spencer's throwing her under the bus, blah, blah, blah. No.
I'm sure that was already set up and planned.
Yeah, two things. Number one, she's the president of Xbox. Right there, it's kind of her job. If you don't think it's her job, I saw a lot of people who played the race card and was like, it's because she's black, Phil Spencer. No, she's the president of Xbox. If you suggest anything else, you're kind of demeaning her. She's totally capable. I really like Sarah Bond. She was clearly nervous, and it's a tough situation to be in. You know, all these things have come up. You've got to answer some questions.
I would also just like to point out that those same people that are saying that have said nothing about Square Enix. I'm not going to let that go.
Anyways, and like George said, these things are set up. She was doing the interview months and months ahead of time. She can't just pull out. You're not going to just pull out. You're not just going to switch her out with someone else or anything like that. That would be unprofessional, and that would look bad. But this is the interview where she talked about, she reiterated the reasons for the layoffs. It's all reprioritization, resources, moving forward, etc. But then clarified game, because rumors started to come up. Oh, more games going to PlayStation. Games not coming to Game Pass day one. Like Call of Duty. Call of Duty was the big one.
History just repeating itself.
And she said, "No, it's coming day one on."
Well,
Game
she didn't
Pass." Well,
specifically
say, not
say
Call of Duty
Duty
specifically, but all Xbox first party titles are coming, and Call of Duty would be one of those.
Yeah.
To Game Pass day one.
Because the argument behind it is Call of Duty makes so much money every year. Tons of money.
Obviously, that Master Chief outfit was $24.
Yeah, well, this is where it actually gets really interesting. So Call of Duty makes a ton of money every year. So the argument is, okay, Xbox doesn't put it on Game Pass and they get a lot of money. Or and then they make Game Pass members mad because you've promised day and date first-party titles, right? Yeah. Or you flip it and you put Call of Duty on Game Pass, but then you lose out on all that revenue, and that was the whole big drama thing, whatever. So Call of Duty does make a lot of revenue in the first few months, but it's actually, most of that revenue comes from $20 microtransactions.
Who
$24.
$24 microtransactions.
Yeah, that Master Chief outfit was 2,400 gold coins.
I think, and I hope I'm not wrong, because I will be honest, if they don't put Call of Duty on Game Pass, especially this year, I would be very upset as a Game Pass subscriber.
I
would be upset.
I think that's fair.
At
100%.
that point, I will say, hey,
what are you doing?
You lied to me.
what are you doing with Game Pass for sure?
Yeah, so
first of all, I do want to shout out real quick. We got another super chat from Super Shocker who gifted 5 XoneBros memberships.
All right.
Thank you very much, Super Shocker. Appreciate it. Everybody that got a membership from him, make sure you hit that BFF button to Super Shocker. Very much appreciate it. I do want to say Facade said that interview was embarrassing, like a deer in headlights. I will say it was a little bit like that at first. As the interview went on, she got much more comfortable. But it is an awkward. She is a professional. That's her job. Maybe she should have been better prepared for those first couple questions in light of everything. But I think as it went on, it's a tech conference. It's Bloomberg Tech.
It's
Bloomberg Tech conference, yeah.
So they have heads.
The majority of it was like
industry.
AI.
Yeah.
Like they're talking a lot about AI and stuff.
Wouldn't that be this is just me. Wouldn't that be the fault of the interviewer to not make the person feel comfortable?
I mean, no. I mean,
the interviewer did really well.
I think Sarah Bond was nervous because of everything. I mean, you got to think if you're in that position, and I'm not making excuses for Sarah Bond, but let's put it this way: if this happens again, I bet you her answers are a little bit better.
Well, I want to ask this.
Yeah.
Okay. So given,
as it goes on, sorry, pause real quick. As it goes on, like right now, it's only the questions about Tango Gameworks that she kind of. Someone described it as a word salad on Twitter, and when you listen, you're kind of like, she skirts
around it.
Yeah, she's trying to. She has talking points, and she's getting those talking points out.
Yeah. Now,
but then she becomes more comfortable, and the interview does pretty good.
I just want to say. So I watched the entire interview.
Hey, me too.
And I want to know. I guess I want to know this. So I think the interview went as good as it could have went. Given the current situation that was happening on the internet. Now that being said,
I think
what I want to ask, just like asking, like what was the expectation of like what were we?
No, I think you could have been clear. What I would have. I mean, this is armchair quarterbacking it. I'm not Sarah Bond. I'm not in that situation, and I probably would not do as well as she did, even, but. I think it's just a clear, straight to the point answer. Listen, this is a tough decision to make. We did it to reprioritize resources and just repeat what Matt Booty said and then move on.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think the issue was her answer really wasn't clear. It was I think a word salad for that question specifically is an accurate description.
Well, but another question, is there any answer that would have been the right answer? Because look what they said. But look what happened to Matt Booty when he gave the answer that you just gave. I don't think there was anything they could have said to have defused any situation.
No, but a clear answer prevents things. Like a clear answer takes that criticism. You don't have to agree with my answer, but it's a clear and concise answer.
Mm.
Overall, I thought I do agree with Facade. It was deer in the headlights. I'd say for the first couple questions, you could tell there was some nervousness there. I think, given everything that's happening. Then as it went on, I thought she really calmed down, and it was pretty good.
I think if she even answered like how you said, which I will admit is a better answer, I don't think it would have changed anything. I think it still would have been criticized because of the current situation.
Criticized. I mean, that's why you get.
But that's what I'm saying.
Bucks.
Like everybody is focusing on that first 2 minutes of the interview and how terrible it was. I don't think there's any answer that would have changed any outcome.
No, but you take away
given the current situation.
But you take away that extra criticism.
No, you don't. Look what Twitter did last week.
No, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. No, I don't think you do. I'm going to disagree.
Why? How did we get on this topic?
I don't know. Were we talking about Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty. Oh, coming day to day one. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. I hope it'll be there. I think it'll be there on Game Pass.
Spicy. Anything? I'm chewing ice on a podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
I don't know. I just want to play some games.
Yeah, should we talk Starfield then? Yeah. Because the big update for Starfield dropped. Should we pull up footage of that? I don't know that it comes across with the big update, but I'll recap the big update here for Starfield. Now, this was the big patch that we got an interview a few weeks ago about, hey, here's everything that's coming, and a lot of excitement, 60 frames per second, some huge quality of life features, the new map, etc., etc. That dropped. It's what is it? A 22 gig update. So if you've not yet updated and you're looking to check it out, it's a 22 gig update. Go download it and you can experience it now live in person. And so far, everybody is.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, so far everybody is loving Starfield.
Just completely
Yeah.
ignored
And
you.
Jordan the man.
Sorry, we just have a question in chat.
Should we come back to that after Starfield?
No.
Okay.
So
we're gonna pause the Starfield here.
Yeah, because this has just been bothering me for a week. Okay. So, Infurious One, thank you for your question. Tango Gameworks closing doesn't make sense to me because Game Pass is supposed to eliminate the need for games to sell well, isn't it? Game Pass membership fees pay for the games, right, XoneBros? So, David can probably explain this a lot better than I can because he did a whole video on it.
I did do a whole video, guys.
do not.
X1 the Gamer.
I am going to say this.
Nice plug.
And be very
YouTube.com.
and be very clear. I do not believe Tango Gameworks closed because of Game Pass. I think Game Pass has absolutely nothing to do with Tango Gameworks closing. And I think that is the big cross in where a lot of the freak out happened last week is people are blaming Game Pass for Tango Gameworks closure, and I think that is, in my opinion, is false. I don't think it has anything to do with Game Pass at all.
Those are two unrelated,
yes.
I think, issues. I wouldn't even say issues, topics that somehow got conflated on the internet, and there was assumptions made. Like for you to say, all we know is what we know. And what we know is that Tango Gameworks was closed down, and the reason given was reprioritization. A few days later, now if Xbox was doing this in and of itself, like no one else in the gaming community was doing this, then we could say, oh my goodness, Xbox is in trouble. What's happening here? A few days later, Square Enix announces the same thing. Not only that, but they're going multi-platform because they have to. No more exclusive deals to anybody. Following that, a few days later, PlayStation down console sales. Following that, more layoffs from other people. I mean, it's an industry-wide situation here. I think it's correct that I think now we can see after just the last week that it is correct the reason that they're giving. They clearly are reprioritizing, especially in light that Activision has a new studio. That would be evidence of reprioritization, and shuffling things around there. At no time was Game Pass ever mentioned. Anybody talking about Game Pass is conflating issues. Xbox has never said anything about Game Pass. Xbox has not said that Game Pass isn't working for them. In fact, Xbox has said the opposite, that Game Pass is working for them.
Well, we can see that through the numbers.
Yeah, and so I don't know how that conflation came up. I think that conflation came up from speculation and a lot of people talking about, well, it must be that this and this. But I'm Infurious One. What was his? Let's see. Tango Gameworks closing. Let me reread this. Sorry. Makes sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me because Game Pass is supposed to eliminate the need for a game to sell well. So I don't even think it was a question whether or not the game sold well. I think the game was a success by all measures. By their reasoning, Tango Gameworks. In fact, we know now that ZeniMax, which is Tango Gameworks, was under ZeniMax. That ZeniMax. The head of ZeniMax said, I thought we were going to go, we were going to collapse, we were going to implode here. Yeah. So they were clearly stretched too thin. That reprioritization took place. Tango Gameworks is gone as a result. And we'll see what happens from here. The IP is still owned, Hi-Fi Rush, of course, but I don't think it had anything to do with Game Pass. I think it was all solely isolated to the issues with ZeniMax, to this need to reprioritize, to become lean and mean and more efficient. And connecting the two, I think, is irrelevant. So, Starfield.
Yeah, I'm ready for Starfield.
Okay,
now.
thanks.
Yeah,
trying to get that out of the system.
Thank you. I feel a lot better.
So, Spicy, tell me. You jumped in, and then we'll go to Jordan. You got to play it. Update, thoughts. What does this do for you, if anything at all?
The big one, which I'm sure Jordan's going to talk about, is the 60 frames per second boost. You switch it on, you switch it off, and you will never switch it off ever again because you're switching that bad boy right back on. I don't know why they didn't just start with this because
Jordan, it took a 22 gig patch. Oh. That's interesting to me.
Oh my gosh, the game is so much more
must have been
user friendly.
You think there were some efficiency issues there or something that they had to get worked out?
It feels so much better. I mean, Jordan was talking about the Bethesda jank, the weird jankiness. It now is a good feeling jank. It's just a smooth jank. 60 frames per second changes the feel of the game quite substantially. It feels so good to play it. I want to also talk about, I'll let you finish off your thoughts on that, Jordan, but I also want to talk about how fun the changes are in the settings where you can change the difficulty of dogfights, of combat, of
Storage?
Like the XP
Storage, baby.
modifiers.
Storage is huge. I'm sorry, I keep saying storage because that was the frustration in my game.
yeah.
Storage.
What they're talking about is you can change the storage weight capacity to like almost negligible, so you can just pack a bunch of stuff in your pockets.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal in this
And on
game.
your ship. And then access it from anywhere.
And access it from anywhere. But what I really like is changing the combat. You can change it to where the enemies are tougher. You can change it where the enemies deal more damage. You can have ammo actually weigh you down more, which makes it, speaking of storage, it makes it more difficult. There's a lot of customization to the difficulty that makes playing this game for me way more fun. I like the challenge.
You can play exactly how you want to play the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I really, really like the challenge of specific games like this. Going in, you have to think about your combat. You can't just go in guns blazing. It makes the finishing an outpost or whatever it is you're doing a lot more rewarding.
Yeah.
For me, you don't just burn past everything and miss the journey, because a game like this, in my opinion, is not about the destination. It is about the journey.
The one thing that I like, and then we'll go to Jordan, is I like now I have a reason to go to New Game Plus. Because when I go to New Game Plus, now I can change all of my
And make it way difficult if you wanted to.
No, I can change. Yeah, but I can change all my class. So I think I was like my
Oh
bench.
yeah,
Yes,
you
they
can
added
change.
that,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can change the.
And so I'm getting the house.
different perks
baby.
and stuff.
I'm getting the house.
Yeah.
But although do I get the house because I kind of don't need it now since I can rearrange furniture and change things on my ship
Yeah.
that I
What-
wasn't able to do before.
But see, it's not about the destination, David.
That's
you
true.
play how you want to play. But for me, I want the house because I want a place to relax.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
While I listen
Fair.
to music.
And at the house, when you get that house, everybody, your ship lands right outside of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to travel anywhere. That's really nice. And I guess I look at my ship as my RV.
You're
Yeah.
My home
You're
away from
Winnebago
home.
from
it's kinda what it
Spaceballs?
is,
My
yeah.
home, my Winnebago
Oh,
from
I
Spaceballs.
want to build the Winnebago.
Build the Winnebago from Spaceballs, baby.
Oh, barf. Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's talk Jordan. Let's go to you.
Hey, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
I really like the new map layout too.
Okay, Sir Meat, that's what I was going to say. Sir Meat said the new maps are sweet. Spicy just talked about Jordan. What are your thoughts? Let's start with new maps.
Well, yeah, I think it's a very good update to the game. It actually it makes me wonder. So we do know Starfield was delayed a whole year. It makes me wonder why this stuff didn't come up during that year. Like I don't know what they were,
Well, they're probably.
I'm not trying to criticize or anything. I know making games is hard.
But it would've been nice to start with
it just
60
makes me
FPS.
wonder. Yeah, like it's basically a giant quality of life update. And that obviously does make the game better. The 60 frames is just yeah.
Well, I feel like the maps.
I do know there are some people that are okay with 30 frames, but the 60 frames is just better.
It does improve.
Yeah,
for sure.
it feels better. It feels like this is where the game should be. It helps with that Bethesda jank.
The jank.
Like jank is good, jank can be good.
Well, jank is not good.
Well, it can be. It gives games feel. It gives them that charm.
Jank's my
But-
middle name.
Jank is nostalgic.
Jank
nostalgic.
jank at 60 frames is much nicer than jank at 30 frames. But it's a really well done quality of life patch.
Here's the thing with the maps is for me to improve the maps, you could have just done a 2D map on a paper type of map, and that would have been infinitely better than what was there, which was nothing.
Yeah, it was literally.
But it feels like a well thought out, like the maps are in 3D, and it's amazing what it does for immersion, because before the show, we went to the main city and pulled up the map, and it's in 3D, and it's this like 3D model sculpture, and then you can see like outside of the city and points of interest, but that 3D model sculpture is like, oh, this is an impressive city. Look how cool this city is.
Yeah.
Which I had never felt before in that city. Like that city you go and you're like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I thought Aquila was cool
New
too.
Atlantis, yeah.
Like New Atlantis is kind of cool, but it's nothing special. But then when you see it on the map in this 3D model and the way that it's stacked, it's built on a waterfall. I would imagine that waterfall is probably for power or something, and then you can see the land around it. It really, I think, enhances that experience. And now those maps now exist on all planets.
Yes, surface maps. They completely redid the surface maps.
Exploration has just changed for the better.
Well,
yeah, because you can go on these points of interest. Going to.
I would say exploration has had a quality of life improvement.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's
Like the,
because the core problem of exploration is still there. It just looks nicer when you look at it on the map.
It was too realistic. When you go to a barren planet, it's a barren planet. It was just a little too realistic.
Here's the thing. This was step one, because step two is we know cars are coming. Either he's playing Rage, or either that dude was playing Rage 2 on his
we saw
on his
that.
machine, or a car is coming.
So we're watching this right now. Starfield right now. You can also remove this camera.
Yeah.
It's
The
super nice.
dialogue camera from like zooming in and making the awkward eye contact.
It's way better because I actually think so what it does is it stays on your character and then you hit it and it doesn't change the camera at all. I actually think, and that's how traditional Fallout games do it, and Skyrim, I actually think that's superior because it doesn't break immersion. This kind of breaks immersion a little bit. Even though you're zoomed in on the person, for whatever reason, it just breaks, like, I'm no longer in this world. I'm in this, like, instance.
Did Skyrim do it that way? I don't think Skyrim did it that way.
Skyrim did it like this?
I think
Fallout for sure doesn't do it.
Yeah, it does. Fallout. Well, which Fallout?
Fallout 4? Does Fallout 4 go?
Yeah, because you have the choice thing.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
the
remember
choice
because
thing.
that guy kept telling me the
Vegas
Minutemen.
doesn't.
You know the guy that always just
Yeah.
runs up to you randomly,
Yeah.
and you zoom in, and he's like,
I think
"You
New
gotta help
Vegas
these
does it
people."
too. I think they all
New
do
Vegas do
it.
it?
I'm
No,
pretty
I-
sure New Vegas does it too.
Oh, because when the options pop up, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, this is better. We
Yeah,
should
no,
all go
yeah,
back to
yeah,
this.
yeah.
My bad, I was wrong. Yeah, this is better. Because I think it does break the immersion. For whatever reason, why do those ones don't feel like...
No, they do.
Were these ones not as drastic? Was this one more
It's just
drastic?
the game was a lot. Those games were better.
You were willing to overlook things.
Yeah. Not saying this is bad, but those
Dealey's86 says, I like the new maps with like an option to turn on Fog of War for planet maps so you still don't know what's out there. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, it's kind of on because you're in a grid system on the map.
And there's
But I see even on each one, like a Fog of War would be cool for discovery. That would be cool. Fallout 4 zooms way too far into the person you're talking to, so defenestrator yet. Confirmation. I guess I don't know why I don't notice it.
So can we talk about cars for a minute?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a Dr. Pepper.
So here's my thing with cars.
number 3.
that's
You're
right.
gonna be up till like 5 in the morning.
I know, yeah, you're drinking a lot of them.
Okay, go for it.
Is there, because so we've talked about this and Mark and I mostly agree. We like Starfield. I think Starfield is a good game. I don't think it's as good as some of Bethesda's other games. After recently playing Fallout 4 again because of the hype of the show, I think Fallout 4 is a better game in my opinion. Right? It's not to say Starfield is bad. I'm playing Starfield right now and I'm having fun with it. I think Skyrim is a better game. I think the reason I like those games better is because it's one curated world, and when I do explore and go off the beaten path, it does feel like the world is there, like is alive. There's I can make discoveries. I like that they're going to add vehicles to Starfield, but every time I went to explore in Starfield, it just felt like I was just going off in a direction. Mm-hmm. There were little outposts, but I didn't feel like I went over to this little outpost, I killed a couple guys, and that was it. And that just seemed to repeat on a lot of planets. Whereas I feel like in Skyrim or in Fallout 4, using those two as an example, I feel like if I went off the beaten path, I'd find new characters. I would find different quest lines, cool new weapons, and I know there is some of that in Starfield, but it feels much more spaced out. Like those types of interactions, while they do exist, are much more rare than they were in Fallout 4 and Skyrim, which is why I wonder, even if they do add vehicles, would it be, is it beneficial? I mean, other than like, yeah, it's cool to drive, but a vehicle would be used for traveling, exploring, and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Shattered Space is going to be interesting because this feels like a setup. It feels like there's so much here in this quality of life. It feels like they are like, we got to have these things before Shattered Space.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Well, and
to see
I
what
wonder
Shattered
actually,
Space
I wonder
brings.
what they're gonna do with Shattered Space, given a lot of the feedback that they got from the base game.
Well, two questions about Shattered Space, I think, is does it do anything for New Game Plus? And I'm just curious at how it advances that story. Or is it a complete side quest type of stuff? You know what I mean?
I think it's just gonna be a side story.
You don't think it's going to advance
think-
the main story?
I don't think New Game Plus is really gonna evolve at all. I think they put that in there to give lore to New Game Plus. That's all I think it is. I don't think it's
agree.
going to.
You think so? You don't think
I don't
that they
think it's
do?
going to expand on anything. I think the way they ended the story was to make New Game Plus a part of the lore, which is cool. But I think that's
Don't you
it.
think... Okay, let me ask you this, though. If instead of it being side DLC or like a different story, it does progress that main story more, do you prefer that? Would you prefer that, or would you prefer
well.
side
I don't
stuff?
think it's going to touch the main story, because if this comes out and you're on a New Game Plus where you skip the main story, you know what I
The
mean.
reason I think it may be tied to the main story is because of the
But you're
Shattered Space.
but you're allowed to
That kind of is what the main story is about.
you're allowed to skip the main story on subsequent playthroughs.
Yeah, because you've done it, and that's what I'm saying. So now, like, here's the next chapter.
Yeah, maybe,
But
but I don't think so.
Okay, well, regardless, it's refreshing. I mean, it's a
No,
refreshing.
it was a good update.
Yeah. We did play Ghost Recon last week, everyone. Right after the show.
Yeah.
Haven't been in Ghost Recon Wildlands. Haven't been in there.
We died.
We died. We died
We
a
were
few
playing
times.
on.
It was funnest for me. Well, let's start with you. What did you think of Ghost Recon Wildlands? What are we, a generation now? How many years? I don't even know how many years it's been since then. But what did you think coming back to it? It is on Game Pass and playing it as a group.
On ghost mode.
We did Ghost mode.
I will say it was
permadeath.
It was fun for me because I was playing with you guys.
Yeah, agreed. It was a lot of fun, I think, with that.
I don't think it would have been nearly as fun if I wasn't.
Yeah,
Playing with you
I
guys.
also agree.
It was, I mean, it's just like a co-op Far Cry, how we were playing with it. Like, so
Yeah, it's definitely...
it's the Ubisoft
Because
formula.
even we're playing on Ghost mode Extreme, so it's like the
And we did
hardest...
start with no HUD, but then we turned it back on
you
because
did.
I was like, we
Well,
don't know what the buttons
without
are.
the HUD,
We didn't know what the buttons were.
Well, not only that, we don't know where the objectives are,
Yeah, we
what
know
the
nothing.
objectives are.
So
It was like we're just
Ghost
going
mode,
camping.
Extreme, and I will say... And so I thought that would give us this more traditional, old school Ghost Recon. Maybe not traditional, because I think this is the new traditional Ghost Recon. But an old school Ghost Recon, and it didn't still.
It didn't, but
No,
it was still
yeah.
very fun.
Yeah, it's still a lot of fun. But it's...
It wasn't
not,
a-
definitely not tactical.
It's not a Ghost Recon game.
To be fair, I think it was supposed to be tactical. I think we weren't tactical.
That's true. I mean, remember, this is what we did. We got him at one point. We got in a pickup and a white pickup truck, and we drove past this house that was fenced off, and people started shooting at us. So we drove right back, shooting out the window, jumped out of the truck, went right in.
Well, even our helicopter technique was probably not like.
Yeah.
Well,
If you've played like Ghost Recon Future Soldier, I would go Future Soldier. So Ghost Recon Future Soldier and then back. These new Ghost Recons won't feel the same at all, and I think that was we did have a lot of fun. But what it felt like is it felt like we were playing Division in the woods.
That's
It's
what
much
it
more
was.
Division in the woods, yeah.
far more Division than old.
But I
school
do
Ghost
like the ghost mode. I like
the
that
permadeath
your
character. We had to make
permadeath
a couple of characters.
Recon. Oh yeah,
Well,
if
it's
you
valuable
die,
because you're leveling
done.
up. Well, it's valuable if you're long term. That would crush you because you're leveling up perks, unlocking like, for instance, drone distance or the steady shot.
Well,
with the
and
sniping
and you're unlocking weapon attachments
Yeah.
as you're
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
As when you die, they're You're
Yep.
back to the.
We had to start new characters. We died because we went in on like a night mission that we weren't supposed to be at. Yeah.
We did a couple
Yeah, it was-
playthroughs and we died at the same place.
Yeah.
You know, it was really fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, highly recommend going back with friends. You may like the single player story. I don't know. I've not played that, but definitely with
Yeah,
friends.
we
it was
really
fun.
didn't care to listen to it. We just they were like, we just had a job
We
to
just
do.
wanted to go kill people, and we did.
And it actually, for what was that game, 2016 or 18
Yeah, it
or
holds up
something like
really
that?
well.
Like, yeah, I mean, you could tell it's older, but it was like,
Yeah,
not
it holds
bad.
up really well. On that note, Ubisoft announced. That's right, Ubisoft.
Oh,
Everyone.
wait, hold on. Can I say one thing that we all said
Yeah.
as soon as, okay, so we played with no HUD. And then we turned it on, and what was everybody's reaction?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
How do I take half of this stuff? And it's not even the stuff that is for in-game purposes. So like your traditional compass, your ammo, notifications up about the game you're playing. It was the extra Ubisoft advertisements just popping up everywhere. And it's not like they're transparent. It's like big, giant 1920 by 1080.
Like your squad takes up
thumbnails.
half the screen, and you're like,
And you're
what
like,
is this
what
thing?
in the world? I think.
They pack a lot of information on that screen.
Well, so they announced the new Assassin's Creed. They announced that
Shadow.
they're not they've halted production on the expansion for The Division. I think they really need to work on their open worldness.
Well, I think these last couple of years, I think it was actually COVID. Everybody was at home playing too many games.
Yeah.
I think people got burnt out of the Ubisoft open world formula because, well, I know I did. I went from, I think it was Far Cry 6, or what was it, Valhalla, Far Cry 6, Immortals, and it was just like, oh, and like I think this is actually the first Ubisoft game. Well, I did play Mirage.
Yeah.
But
they're too similar.
Yeah,
Like
well, and
the
it's-
fact that we just call it a Division in the woods. It's definitely not because Division you're
it's
but
they
Division,
even.
you're-
I think they have the same backpacks.
But Division, you're third person. It's a lot like cover fire type.
They
of
don't have the
stuff.
same armbands.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're third person in Ghost Recon. You literally played the game last week.
I'll pull up some gameplay, David.
Are you not in first person in Ghost Recon?
You can go aim down sight if you
I'm
want
just
to.
aiming down sight
Yeah.
the whole time. Anyways, what I'm saying is the fact that we're saying that all these games are just too. Ubisoft needs to vary they need to have two formulas instead of one.
Well, and see, in chat, Cooper, Avatar reminded me of Far Cry. It was Far Cry skinned as Avatar.
Yeah.
And I think that's like Ubisoft found a formula that at one time worked. I don't think it works now, at least for me. Because David, why did you hate Valhalla? Minus the tutorial,
It was like
there was too much.
there's just when you open that map up, it's just a hot mess of icons, and you go and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go check these out, and you go to it and you realize, oh, this is pointless. Like they didn't make this engaging and fun. They didn't make me make decisions. It's just like a collector spree, which I know some people like, but I just think you could do that for one or two games. But when it's in all Ghost Recon is the same. When you open up that map in Wildlands, it's vast, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Is it though? I submit to you, it is not.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think the Ubisoft open world formula does need to shift a little bit. I think Mirage was actually a decent because
Well, they're trying to go back.
Yeah,
I feel
they
like.
pulled a lot of it back. If you
Yeah.
notice, Mirage isn't like a 60 million hour game like Assassin's Creed. You don't need to do all this to get the true ending. It's like it's actually what I appreciated about Halo Infinite's open world. Halo Infinite had some side stuff, but it wasn't like go collect 500 of these things. Go do this. It was little things that could be done that didn't burn you out. Like David didn't play Assassin's Creed for like 12 years because he collected feathers.
Yeah, I did. I went for all 100% in first.
I come home
first
from work.
Assassin's
I worked
Creed.
at Dairy Queen at the time,
second
and he
one-
goes, "Hey Jordan, I'm gonna get all these. I'm gonna get all
all
100
the
of these
feathers."
feathers."
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's a-
what?
it's a
Why?
quest in a-
Why would you
yeah.
do that?
And
And then 12 years later, he plays Valhalla and gets pissed again. Like you're never gonna play an Assassin's Creed game.
I literally hate that game.
I know. Did you
But
ever hear the quacks that I had to put in? on the episode a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I never went back and listened.
The live version is the uncensored version.
Yeah, live servant is raw.
Yeah, that's
live and
raw, how it is. But yeah, the ones that post
The video, you mean? Yeah.
The posts. Yeah,
The podcast was
I
edited.
did quacks.
Oh, I like
so when
that.
you said I quack, hate that game.
Yeah, well, it's just, and the fact that like leaving people in chat like, oh yeah, I felt like Far Cry. This feels like Far Cry. Like, I think that's a real problem. Even Watch Dogs, like when you play Watch Dogs, for instance, which was their newer open world IP, and like, oh look at all this stuff you can do. You play, and it's like, well, this feels like every other Ubisoft game. And if it works, hey, if it works, it works. They're clearly like a successful company.
I think it did work, but I think they.
It's overdone.
Yes,
It's
it's fatigue. It worked for a number of years, and now people
okay.
are just it's
this part right here, guys. If you're watching, if you're listening, they got in a helicopter and they're taking off. This is what makes this game fun. Is doing this kind of stuff. I will say I do like how they do this, where you're like collecting documents and then that gives you boosts.
Yeah, for
to
like
help you
gear
level
and
up
stuff like that, yeah.
That's cool.
Which is the formula that you've been complaining about. That's the formula you've been complaining about. It's just in a different skin. In Valhalla, it was
treasure chests.
treasure chest. Yep.
Or who are the people that you kill?
Maybe
The
because
Centurions.
maybe
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
whip out your camera or you bug something, it feels different.
Yeah, you feel
like
you
you're
feel a
using-
little bit better.
you're using
Yeah,
technology.
You feel like a military
you
like
feel
yeah,
cool.
you're like all
They
right.
mask it in coolness, technical coolness.
Yeah. And then it unlocks the other places that you need to go on the map to get to do
Yeah.
that same thing.
Yeah, but as a multiplayer game, this is pretty fun.
Oh, it was-
but-
Yeah, it was
way
really
fun.
fun. Just doing what this guy's doing right now, riding a motorcycle straight down a hill.
Or like one time we were going back to a base when we first started playing, and Spice was like, "I'm going to drive there."
Yeah, you guys took a
And
helicopter.
we took a helicopter and we had to wait for him
My-
for a
My
while.
car almost didn't make it, man. It was tough stuff.
iPhones are cooler than feathers. Yes, this is true. This is true. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you for tuning in this week. It's another big week. Don't forget, thank you, everybody, first of all, who joined us live. We record live each and every single week. There is no post show this week. The post show will return next week. But if you haven't yet, subscribe to us over on YouTube, youtube.com/XoneBros. There is basically daily shorts dropping. So if you miss a show, there's shorts from the shows dropping over there. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to us over on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. That very much helps us. Or come join the member club. You get exclusive access to the member lounge. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.